Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, I want to share with you some of the top true crime stories that are in the news. Things that are ongoing, just happened, just been convicted, anything around those lines. Here's my main purpose. My purpose is to keep you educated on the things you must be aware of, be on the lookout of, because here's the truth. This has been a corrupt world before any of us were born. The more alert we can be, the better prepared we can be. Granted, things can still happen, but we want to try to be alert, right? We want to try to be careful for what's happening around us. That's the whole purpose of Deep True Crime, where we explore the different cases that are either ongoing or have been solved, and I dive deep into what happened. But in this particular episode, we keep you updated on top true crime stories now. I'm Manny Rodriguez. If that sounds like something that you are interested in continuing to follow, please smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well and click on that notification bell. That way you get notified whenever I upload content, or in this particular case, whenever I go live. Thank you for joining me today. I'll be back in 10 seconds. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, my friends. I told you that it'd be really fast. And I'm going to just dive into this because I only have 30 minutes to make sure I get this done in less than 30 minutes. This is my second live today. If you saw my earlier live, thank you. If you're watching this live, thank you. If you're watching the replay, thank you. Hope you're having an amazing, amazing day. Let's go ahead and dive into it, my friends. As you know, we have been continuing the coverage of the Gabby Petito story. And one of the big things about this story is, number one, the male Brian Laundrie is still on the run. No one knows where he's at. Lots of sightings, and I'm even going to talk about that. And you don't even know, what do I believe? What's true? What's not true? Everyone who looks like Brian Laundrie is getting ambushed. It's crazy. Good thing I don't have a beard and shave more of my hair off, because I'd be in big trouble, possibly, right? And so the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to this Gabby Petito case is the family. So Christopher Laundrie, as usual, continues to ignore questions. Here he was trying to be, a reporter asking him, when Brian came back, didn't you, and without Gabby, didn't you think that was strange? And of course, Christopher Laundrie is not going to talk. He could care less at this stage. He just wants to protect his child.
This is where the fatal shooting happened at this house behind.
He just wants to protect his child. Going a little too fast there. And so we continue the Gabby Petito update with everything that's going on around it. And so let me get back up there. And that's exactly why I continue to cover this, because number one, the family's not helping. And we want to know where Brian Laundrie is. And you know what? The Brian Laundries know what's going on. The parents, they know what's going on with Brian. I truly believe they kind of know, because obviously I don't think he's staying in one. I don't know. He could be staying in one place. We don't know this at all, do we? Like, literally, we don't know. He literally could be still there. He could be, there's been questions on if there's a bunker back there. If there's a bunker back there, and it's like, maybe there is a bunker. Have they even checked there? So, something I want to share with you. I don't know, again, This is the fact is, there are some facts around this, but a particular internet sleuth noticed that Brian Laundrie's Pinterest account Brian Laundrie's Pinterest account show him following an additional person than the number of follows he had previously. And so, which it is kind of weird, because if he's MIA, he shouldn't be using Pinterest, right? There's a good chance he's not using Pinterest at all. But then why did his count go up on his Pinterest account? So this Pinterest sleuth, Shayna Dodge, she noticed some weird activity on Brian Laundrie's Pinterest account. So I'm guessing she must have screenshot this previously in order to see the difference. But she says 3 weeks ago, I posted in my stories about Brian's Pinterest account. In my screen grab from 3 weeks ago, he followed 145 people. Tonight, I was scrolling some of his pins on his account and I noticed this. He now follows 146 people. That's weird, right? And you know, here's the truth, my friends. You have to take all of this with a grain of salt. You literally have to take all of this with a grain of salt, because some people are reporting on stuff just to get noticed. Literally, just to get like, oh man, this is a chance to go viral or get a lot of views or get seen on a lot. You know, it's like the guy in the bar where he said him, two friends, and his wife were sitting together, and Brian was over there in the corner and kind of griping at them angrily because of the topics they were talking about. I don't know that I really believe that story. If you've been following my channel, I've mentioned multiple times I don't quite believe that story. And so this one here says, you know, she continues, like, of course, his follow count went up as people have flocked to his pages, but how did who he follows go up within the past 3 weeks? Can bot pages make you follow them? Well, here's the truth. I have found on my Facebook, I'm like, when did I become friends with this person? Or how did this happen? Or how did I even become unfriended with this person? I don't remember unfriending this person. You know, and things like that. I've even reached out to friends like, hey, did you unfriend me? Because we're unfriends now. So, you know, there could be some relevancy around that. We're talking social media, right? There's nothing perfect about social media at all. And so she shares about the discrepancy, how it was 145 and now all of a sudden it's 146. So that is kind of interesting, and this is why I share that particular update about that. There might be some relevancy to that. Literally, there might be some relevancy to that. I'm not going to disown that. I'm literally not going to disown that. The other topic I want to talk about around the Gabby Petito update is, so Roberta Laundrie apparently had a really good friend, and she took to social media defending Brian. Now, I disagree with this lady wholeheartedly. You know, some things she is accurate about, but to state the reasoning, and I'll go into it. No, I'll go into it, of course. And so, as we go deeper into this, obviously more information comes out about relationships with people, relationships with the Laundrie family, you know, friends of Gabby Petito and different people, right? And so a previous co-worker of Roberta Laundrie, Brittany Coleman, that's her name, she made some pretty big claims about Petito and the events that surround her unsolved homicide. And so Brittany Coleman, she's been defending Brian Laundrie now. Now, granted, obviously she took some heat for some stuff she put up there, and now the post has been deleted. And she was a co-worker of Roberta Laundrie, and they became really close. Like, she considered Roberta Laundrie a very good friend. And so Coleman worked with Roberta, you know, back when Roberta lived in New York, in Suffolk County, you know, when they were living in New York, and she claimed she became very close with the Laundrie family. And so her words about Roberta, Roberta Laundrie, the most kind and wonderful person in the whole world, she said in a post where she flaunted a poncho that was crocheted by Roberta. Now, here's the thing about that. And here's my thought on it again. My thought. Roberta may be the nicest person in the world, but what she's doing right now is not very nice. And if you actually believe what she's doing right now is right, yeah, I get Mama Bear protecting her cub. I truly do get that. You know, parents, as a coach of over 40 kids, parents can always, like, it doesn't even matter if they know both sides. They automatically jump to the kid's side. Automatically. Literally. You know, sure, sometimes they come and say, Coach, I want to hear your side. You know, I got this side. I want to hear your side. You know, and it's so quick to become defensive for your child. I get that. I'm a dad. I get that. I totally get that. But what Roberta Laundrie's doing here, and the fact that I believe she has thrown out some lies, can you truly say she's the most kind and wonderful person in the whole world? Really? Really? I don't know about that. I do not know about that. And so Brittany Coleman, in a, again, now deleted Facebook post, and I'm going to show you some stuff anyway, or post. She says, I think the hardest thing is all the people acting like they know what happened before any information got out and talking horrible things about Brian and his family. You know, okay, I could get that. There was only one story, and it was a story we were getting from media because your friend, Miss Brittany Coleman, your friend Brian Laundrie was not speaking. If he had nothing to hide, why isn't he speaking? So I'm sorry, I can't agree with you on that. I cannot agree with you. I see what you mean, but I cannot agree with you. She goes on and she says she mentioned a lot about the media people and people online twisting the story and making it seem like Brian and his family were evil, but that it couldn't be farther from the whole truth. And she says Gabby has a laundry list of mental health issues, financial irresponsibilities, and other issues, and Brian and his family have been so supportive through the years. Sure. Gabby was 22 years old. How responsible with money do you expect her to be? And guess what, Miss Coleman? Apparently, she had enough money that Brian would use her Capital One debit card and spend over $1,000 to get back to Northport, Florida, and use Gabby Petito's van. How dare you say this? Are you not at least putting two and two together and not just being biased in this matter before you open your mouth in this particular case? So I think that's interesting that she shares this, considering that the girl was only 22 years old. What were you expecting? What were you expecting? And so this Coleman lady, she's throwing insults at Petito, and she elaborates more on her problems. Let me bring that up here. So Brittany Coleman, she shares, it's hard to, because I know Brian and he's really nice and his mother is an absolute gem. I worked with Roberta. She crocheted me a poncho. She's given me so much advice throughout my time working with her, and we've remained close friends since then. And it breaks my heart to see two families going through such horrible things, and the entire world is gawking and throwing their 2 cents in and making fun of them like we're in elementary school and nobody taught each other to be kind to one another. Seriously? You honestly believe Brian didn't do this? Okay, this was September 28th when she did that. Okay, I'll give you a little semi-pass on this because the autopsy has since been out. But obviously, we're, including me, we're not that wrong, are we? We're not that far off base, are we? Because it's come to find out that, hey, she was actually strangled and throttled by her killer, Brian Dirty Laundrie. And so she goes on and says, where was I think the hardest thing is all the people acting like they know what happened before any information got out and talking horrible things about Brian and his family for obvious reasons. And there was another murder not far from there around the same time, but there was no big press on it. What I do know is that Gabby has a laundry list of mental health issues, financial responsibilities, and other issues. And Brian and his family have been so supportive through the years. She lived in their home rent-free, both with the sister of Brian and with the parents at different times. I spoke with Roberta at length about some of the situations that had occurred in the house while they were all living together. I did not sound easy. She probably meant it. The fact that people are saying Brian stole her van and used her card when I know he poured in so much of his savings for her to live her dream and to try and make her happy is heartbreaking. He's being treated like the scum of the earth. I don't know where else. There's probably more, but I'm not going to keep going into that. But what do you guys think about this? What do you think about Brittany Ann Coleman and her message? What do you think about that? My thought process is maybe she should have waited before opening her mouth and typing all this stuff out. Maybe. Right? Maybe. And so now the search for him is still on. We don't know where he is at. So, one last update on that. This is where I have to say it's tough being a Brian lookalike because it has actually occurred now. It has actually occurred. Okay? It has actually occurred. A lookalike was ambushed by the feds at gunpoint on the Appalachian Trail. Now, not exactly on the Appalachian Trail. They rented a hotel, took a nap, got a banging at the door, and then boom, was handcuffed in his underwear in the hallway of the hotel room. So my gosh, it is tough being a lookalike right now of Brian Laundrie because you better have your ducks in a row when you get pulled over because you can have guns drawn on you. And the cops even told him he might want to shave his beard because it may happen again. And this is his face. I kind of see that. I could kind of see why he would be mistaken for that. I'm sorry that you went through this, my friend. But you can see why that might happen. I can kind of see that. So be careful if you're Brian Dirty Laundrie lookalike because you can get thrown in with the wolves. And it's unfortunate, but this stuff happens, doesn't it? The next one I want to talk about, NASA employee convicted of murder. That's right. I know. Wow. Really? I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so NASA, he used to work there. He was actually also a cop. He used to be a cop. And so now he has been convicted. Now, he allegedly used a racial slur against the mixed race neighbor. They had an altercation on the front porch of the home, and now he's been convicted. So Michael Headley, 52 years old, he has been convicted of first-degree murder in the death of his 24-year-old neighbor, Javon Prather. And so, as you can see on the left, the former NASA employee. On the right, Javon Prather. Sad all around. Obviously, 24 years old. Just starting his adult life, really, right? He hasn't even been in his adult life but 6 years, pretty much. Pretty much 6 years. He had a lot of life. Rest in peace, Javon Prather. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. And so, former NASA employee and police officer who allegedly used a racial slur against his mixed race neighbor was found guilty of the man's murder. And he murdered him. And so first he was accused of this murder in March of 2020, and he fatally shot the 24-year-old. And, the guy was just standing on Headley's doorstep. He was just standing on Headley's doorstep when the incident occurred. There was an argument, and so that he was executed by Headley, just like that, just shot point blank there. And so, according to Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney, Steve DeSano, evidence submitted during the trial revealed that racial animus was a contributing factor in Mr. Headley's actions. Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it. And so they try to bring a self-defense to this. In Florida, that might have been a stand your own ground type thing, and he might have gone away with that stuff. But in Virginia, might be a little bit different, huh? And so here we have former NASA employee, former police officer killed their neighbor over a dispute. You would like to think that, my gosh, does it have to go that far? I would like to think it does not have to go that far. But unfortunately, it did go that far. Rest in peace, Javon. And so that is in the news this weekend as he is convicted of this heinous crime. Sad, sad all around. Taken way too soon. And so the next one I want to share with you is another sad domestic violence. Except in this case, this goes to show that sometimes you get convicted of murder, you actually see the daylight again. You actually see daylight again. So this guy here, he is charged with murdering his ex-girlfriend, and he was already in prison for killing his ex-girlfriend. I know, how crazy is that? And so a North Carolina man is charged with murdering his ex-girlfriend, and he already did time for killing an ex-girlfriend. And so Charles Combs on the left, LaPortia Baldwin on the right of this image. And you can see her there with her baby girl. So another child lost their parent because of someone's friggin' rage. Someone who cannot control themselves. I mean, this stuff is sickening. Sickening. This domestic violence, the more I report on this stuff, the more it's like, how do people bring themselves to do this? I can't answer that. Only God can answer that. And truth is, when you think about the Cain and Abel story, how that happened in the beginning of time where, brother kills brother. It's never stopped. It's never stopped. And so here we have a North Carolina man who had spent 12 years in prison for murdering his then girlfriend in 2004. Now he's facing murder charges in the death of another woman, his ex-girlfriend. That's blown away. And so the body of LaPortia Chantel Baldwin, she was found in South Carolina on Thursday. This is according to authorities. And the ex-boyfriend, Charles Combs, is accused of killing her. He is accused of killing her. And, this is the type of stuff you don't want to... this stuff should be prevented. I think all of these killings could be prevented, but I'm not in these people's shoes. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to share. I'm trying to help people be aware of what people are capable of. And so, Baldwin, LaPortia, she was last seen by family members on October 10th. That's 9 days ago. And so That's where it's pretty sad on this. This pretty sad. And so, she meets up with her family in the parking lot. She kissed her 18-month-old daughter and said, "I love you." And she was headed to work. She was headed to work only to never return. She never called to check on her daughter. And that's when they knew something was wrong. That's when her mother knew something was not right about this. Why hasn't she checked on her daughter? Why hasn't she called in? And so on October 10th, Baldwin's car was found. And Baldwin's car was found. The tires were slashed. And there was possible blood that was found on the steering wheel, the dashboard, and cup holder. And investigators also did find women's clothing and duct tape inside as well. They did find Baldwin's phone, and they discovered that after she left the church, she had a conversation with Combs, the ex-boyfriend. And so now Combs is now charged. And so Baldwin had broken up with Combs about 3 weeks before this time. And so according to court records, Combs was distraught about this breakup. He was distraught. And he told a friend about her, and he said he would kill himself if he could not be with her. Okay? Need a little more than that to actually get the conviction is my guess. But the details apparently are so similar to the first ex-girlfriend's killing. And so the first ex-girlfriend, he was convicted of second-degree murder in Charlotte in 2007. In Charlotte, North Carolina. And that's when he spent 12 years in prison for the 2004 death. And so now he is in trouble again. Now, he does have prior record. He was arrested in 2020 for driving without a license. And so, a lot of people are in pain over this whole thing. The 18-month-old daughter, now she's going to grow up without a mother. Now, I don't understand how, and I'm glad I'm able to report on this, because I could tell you this is really hard stuff. I'm surprised I'm not just bawling out on this, because this is some sad stuff overall. You just wish it never happens. Unfortunately, it happens. It happens. Unfortunately, it definitely happens. And we wish it didn't happen. And so he killed his second girlfriend. The last story I want to talk about is Maryland man. He's convicted of murder after allegedly stalking his ex-girlfriend and then fatally stabbing the man she was with. I know, more domestic crap. Now, granted, he didn't kill her in this case. He killed the man she was dating. And so here we have this Denzel Kasaka. He's facing up to 40 years. He's convicted. They haven't sentenced him yet. He's already in jail, waiting for his sentencing now. And so he's convicted of murder in the death of another man who was dating his ex-girlfriend. And so on Wednesday, I guess I'm a little old. Oh, I'm a little behind on this. I thought this was a little more current. I'm so sorry. I had another article too. I should have ran with the other article. But that's okay. We're going to still talk about this because this is a big deal. And so on Wednesday of last week, a jury found Denzel Kasaka, 23. Wow, he's young. He's going to be spending a lot of time in prison. Guilty of second-degree murder after prosecutors were aiming for a first-degree murder charge for the death of Jose Augusto Ruiz. And so he allegedly stalked his ex-girlfriend through social media in June of 2020 and then sent threatening messages to her and Ruiz before stabbing Ruiz in the heart after tracking them outside of her apartment. Wow. And so, according to an attorney in Montgomery State, Denzel Kasaka is a threat to the safety of the community, and the state intends to seek the maximum sentence of 40 years in prison. I don't understand why they don't have more than 40 years when you kill somebody. Maybe they believe that you'll be okay afterwards. I don't know. I couldn't see myself ever killing anyone, so I feel like they should go away for a lifetime. They took away a life for a lifetime, right? I don't know. But again, the defense attorney, he says, again, another self-defense, right? He says he was defending himself. In the worst case, he would have been found responsible for manslaughter. Sure, he was defending himself. He stalks, follows on social media, shows up over there with a weapon, remind you, and he's defending himself. If that's not premeditated, I don't know. But then again, premeditated leads to first degree murder, right? And so, I don't know. We'll see what you will, I don't know. So the defense attorney, he says, my client was pushed, chased, and thrown to the ground, and he had the window of his car smashed. Both of these young men were not happy. Obviously, the guy was probably defending his current girlfriend. A tragedy for everybody involved. So, there you have it, my friends. More craziness in the books. I don't understand when this stuff will ever stop, because truth is, it will never stop. Unfortunately, it will never stop. That's just how it is anymore. This is a world we live in. What I want to encourage you to do is find it in you to love on other people. It's never the end of the world. It's never the end of the world. There's so much in our hearts that we can find to be better human beings. My friends, thank you for joining me today as we cover 4 more top stories and we continue the Gabby Petito update. I'm Manny Rodriguez. I appreciate you guys following the channel. And please, if you got some value and this sounds like something you like to follow, smash that subscribe button, hit on that like button, and click on that notification bell. That way you know when I upload content or I go live. I'm Manny Rodriguez. I look forward to serving you guys again. Have a